Hey yogis and yogis, welcome back to Yogana. My name is Anna. Today we'll be continuing the Flow for Your Flow series. So we'll focus on the luteal phase, which is the fall season or the week or so before your menstrual cycle. So we're just really going to want to scale it back on cardio and high intensity workouts and just work more towards slow strength training and maybe even dial it back to yin yoga or just a simple exercise as walking. So go ahead and hop onto your mat. So grab your comfiest clothes you want to move in and we'll get started. All right, ladies, so let's go ahead and begin on our backs for this practice. So go ahead and keep the knees bent. The feet are going to be planted, and then the arms can kind of hang out wherever it feels the most comfortable. I always like kind of when I'm on my back to take them up overhead and just grab opposite arms, forearms or elbows, and then just kind of that opens up the shoulders and the heart a little bit more. But you're welcome to keep the hands down beside you or maybe rest them on the belly. And we'll just take a few grounding breaths to begin. The knees are bent. That really helps support the low back in its natural form. So just keep the feet nice and grounded. Feel the breath in the belly as you inhale and exhale without changing anything. Just find your own rhythm of breath. And then if the lips aren't already sealed, just go ahead and close down the mouth and then just breathe in and out through the nose, maybe even evening out the breath. If you kind of find your own counting to yourself as you inhale and then exhaling that same count. Good, and then just take one last inhale through the nose and exhale out the nose. If the arms are overhead, we'll just take them back down beside us. If they're down beside you, just start to find some gentle movements, wiggle out toes and fingers, roll out wrist. Good, and then we're just gonna find a recline figure four shape. So go ahead and cross that right ankle over the left knee. Start to press that right knee open, just slightly. Start to get deep into the hip. And then as you press that right knee away, we're just gonna find some knee windshield wipers back and forth. So let that right foot fall over, right knee fall over, maybe feel some pops, some cracks in the back as you kind of windshield wiper the legs back and forth a couple times. And then go ahead, the next time the right knee falls over to the right, just hold it there for a second. Maybe let that right knee touch or just kind of hover, pressing into that right leg. That left arm grounds out beside you, extending the elbow. Feel that slight twist in the torso, detoxing, getting rid of all the extra estrogen that might be built up in your body. Really finding that breath, allowing it to circulate through the organs and the torso especially. Inhale, come back through center. Take that right foot all the way over to the left side. Maybe press into that right knee with your left hand and use that right arm to ground you. Find a gentle twist in the opposite direction. That right foot can be planted on the floor. It might be a little bit easier than hovering, but if it's not, no worries. Just focus again on that twist in the torso. And then inhale, we'll bring it back through center. Release and extend, and then lower down that right foot. Keep that right knee bent, that right foot planted, and then we'll switch sides. Left ankle crosses over the right knee. And then find those windshield wipers with the left side. Good. Next time that left knee falls over to the left side, we'll hold it there. Press that left knee open slightly with the left hand. That right arm comes out beside you to ground you. Maybe gaze goes over the fingertips or just fixes up towards the sky. Again, just really focusing on the sensation of breath in the belly. And then we'll inhale, start to bring it back through center. Let that left foot fall all the way over to the right side. That left foot plants, right hand grabs onto the left leg, and then that left arm grounds you. Good. Inhale, bring the legs back through center. And then release, extend that left leg, lower down the left foot, keep the knee bent. Maybe let the knees both fall side to side a couple times, or let that right leg fall out to the right for a moment, left leg fall out to the left, and then just find those windshield wipers again. Good. Next time the knees come through center, we'll hug the knees into the chest, make yourself into a little ball. Really pull the knees in, roll out the ankles, keep a nice flat back. Shoulders ground into the mat. And then we'll take a deep inhale, the deepest inhale you've taken all day in through the nose. Exhale, extend everything like we're finding Shavasana as you release the legs. Arms come back overhead. So find a deep morning stretch this time. Keep the elbows extended. And then we're going to move into reclined C shape or banana asana. So take the right heels over to the bottom right corner of the mat. Grab onto the left wrist with your right fingertips. Pull yourself over to the top right corner. So from here, the ankles or the heels can stay right side by side, or that left ankle can cross over the right ankle, just to get yourself deeper into that side body stretch on the left side. But if it's a little too much, if it feels a little pinching or uncomfortable in the low back, just keep the heels side by side. Good. You want to stay nice and heavy still on the left side. So really staying grounded or just kind of hovering towards the mat with that left sits bone, the left hip, and the left shoulder. And then really breathing into the space in between, almost feeling a pull in the opposite directions to really open up that space. This posture can always bring up some emotions or feelings just that have been stagnant within the hips or the torso, especially in the luteal phase. So just giving yourself some validation, whatever may come up, and see if you can sit with it and just find your breath. Good. On the next inhale, we'll go ahead and start to bring ourselves back in line. So maybe uncross the left ankle, walk both the heels back through center, arms back overhead. Find a little deep morning stretch before coming to the other side. And then start to walk the heels over to the bottom left corner. Grab onto the right wrist with your left fingertips. Pull yourself to the left side of the mat, and then maybe cross the right ankle over the left or keep the heels side by side. Still feeling heavy on that right side body, breathing into the space between the right sits bone and the right shoulder. This can look and kind of feel like a really passive practice, but there's so much going on in the stillness as we stretch on each side of the body. So again, just giving any validation for any feelings or sensations that might come up as you hold here for the next few breaths. Good. And then once you feel balanced on this side, we'll take another inhale and then make our way back through center. So uncrossing the ankles if they're crossed, walk the heels back through center, arms back overhead, reach really far behind you, point the toes in front of you. And then find a reclined cobbler's pose for a moment. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. The knees can come out nice and wide. And those hands can kind of rest on the inner hips here. So feeling heavy with the knees, letting the gravity just really open up the inner hips. Feel that release and tension in the low back. And then inhale the knees back together, closing them like a book. Rolling over onto the right side, so take the hips up and over to the left, the knees fall to the right. We'll gently press ourselves up and then come to all fours. So nice and slow here. You might feel just taking a moment in a seated posture and then eventually making your way into that tabletop posture if you feel a little dizzy on your way up. Otherwise, we'll meet in all fours. So the knees are hips distance wide. The wrists are underneath the shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide. Good. From here, we're actually going to take it right back into a child's pose. So big toes come together, knees can stay wide or bring them together. We'll sink the hips over the heels and extend the arms. Feeling that belly breath as you breathe. And with every exhale, just sink the hips a little bit deeper. Good. On the next inhale, we'll bring ourselves back up to all fours, all the way down onto the belly. So extending the legs behind you, separate the feet. We'll just find a little baby cobra. So go ahead and press into the palms underneath the shoulder blades. Press the heart open, shoulders roll down the spine. And then we're just going to take a gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center, exhale over the right shoulder. Inhale back through center. Exhale, bend in the knees, lift the belly, find tabletop again. Shake out the hips. And then move into a kneeling side plank. So turn those left toes towards the left side of the mat, extend and kick that right foot back. Inhale the right arm high, and then really press and lift that right hip up. So almost like there's a string pulling yourself up towards the sky with that right side. Maybe even lifting that right leg, or just keep it planted if that's plenty. And then if you lifted that right leg, we'll slowly lower it back down to the mat. Come back to all fours. Shake out the hips and switch sides. So go ahead this time. This time we're gonna take that right foot, turn it towards the right side of the mat, kick that left foot back behind us. Inhale the left arm high. Press the left hip up towards the sky, and then maybe even lift that left foot off the ground. Good. Lower down that left foot if you lifted. Come back to all fours. Shake out the hips. Tuck the toes, hover the knees, feel strength in the core. Maybe a little bit of a shake as you hover the knees, feel strong in the shoulders. And then lift the hips, find down dog. Pedal out the dog a couple times, just slowly warm up the hamstrings. As you drop one heel, bend the opposite knee and keep the hips lifted. Nice and grounded in the hands, especially in the thumbs and the pinky fingers. And then lower down both heels evenly towards the ground. Find a slight softness still in the knees. Hips are lifted high, heart's pressing back. Shoulder blades really open. We'll tippy toe up to meet our hands. Find a forward fold. So landing, feet come up to meet the hands. We'll hang out here, shake out the head, yes and no. And release in the upper body, the shoulders, the neck. You grab the backs of the legs if you feel steady. And even pull the heart into the knees and relax the shoulders. Good, release the hands. Inhale, ragdoll yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. Feel nice and heavy in the hands. Just let them dangle as you roll yourself up into mountain pose. Roll the shoulders back, palms face forward. Good. Inhale the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, interlace the hands, press the palms away. And then just press up with the palms, maybe even find a gentle back bend. Take one final inhale through the nose. And exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Inhale, find a half lift, flat back. Exhale, step back with the right foot, find low runner's lunge. Good, we'll drop that right knee, untuck the toes, plant that right hand, open up, find an easy twist with the left arm. Shoulders are stacked, gaze is either beside you, up towards the sky, or if you need a little bit extra grounding, just looking down at the ground. Protecting the neck, whatever direction you're looking, keeping that left knee in line with the toes, and then lower down as we exhale with that left hand, frame the left foot, tuck the right toes, lift the knee, right foot comes back up to meet the left. Forward fold. Good, we'll grab the big toes this time with our first two peace fingers. And then from here, soften the knees. We'll pull in the heart towards the knees again. Really bend in the elbows to bring yourself deeper. Shake out the head. And then release and ragdoll yourself up again. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, circle sweep the arms high. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the low back. Press the knuckles away from you this time. So interlacing the fingers, rolling the shoulders back. Maybe open up in the heart again. Roll the shoulders towards each other. And then maybe keep the hands interlaced or release them if it's just a little bit tight. But we'll start to fold forward and then go ahead and release in the neck. Maybe keep the hands on the low back or start to fly them high if you have that bit of mobility range. Good. Slowly take the hands to the low back if they're not already there. Release without flinging the fingertips. Release the hands. Roll the shoulders. Shake out the hands. And then take a giant step back as we exhale with the left hand. Find that low runner's lunge. Make sure it's a wide enough distance behind you to really feel that stretch in that left hip flexor. And then once you find that location, we'll drop the left knee, untuck the toes, keep that left hand planted, and then inhale the right arm high. Find an easy twist. Shoulders are in line, gaze is up beside you or below you. Exhale, lower down that right hand. Tuck the toes on that left foot, lift the knee, and then we're gonna move right into a pyramid pose. So that left foot's gonna come in slightly, so just a baby step in, about a foot or so. Feet are on two separate planks here. So those right toes are aiming forward, left toes are almost aiming towards the top left corner. And then we're in that pyramid pose. So we'll go ahead and find a little half lifts, maybe hands come to the hips, and then find that flat back again. Exhale, refold. Shake out the head. If you have a couple blocks or some props to lift the ground up to you, this can really come in handy to work towards a little bit deeper stretch in the backs of the legs. Good. On the next inhale, we're gonna bend slightly through that right leg. Giant step back again with that left foot. Land on the toes and then find a high lunge. So inhale the arms high. Both hips are aiming forward. Sink the hips really low. And then open up into a warrior two. So drop that left heel 45 degrees. Arms open up at a T. Right knee opens up, shoulders are just over the hips. And then we'll inhale, take it back, find peaceful warrior. Reach back with the right hand, down the back leg with that left hand, or wrap it behind you so those fingertips are resting on the right hip. Keep the hips really low, that right knee nice and bent. And then inhale, we're gonna find triangle. So bring yourself up with the right hand, straighten through that right leg, reach it forward and down with the right hand, and then maybe release and extend that left arm or keep it behind you if that feels good. That left shoulder rolls open. Again, gaze always down at the ground to ground you. If you're feeling a little shaky or start to make your way up to challenge your balance. And then we're gonna find a little triangle twist. So go ahead and maybe reach that left hand up if it's behind you. Close the left hand down to meet the right. And then we're just gonna open up towards the right side. So right hand can rest on that right hip. Left hand stays grounded. Gaze Again, goes up beside you or down. You're welcome to reach that right hand up. I just kind of like to hold onto that right hip to feel a little more steady and controlled. Good, and then we're just gonna unwind. So lower down that right hand, bend in the right knee, step in with those left toes, land on the toes, and then ground through that right foot. Find one-legged mountain pose. Knee comes into the chest, palm comes together, meet in tree pose. Ground that left foot somewhere along the right leg. Protect that right knee. That left knee opens up. Your toes can stay on the ground. If you're feeling a little shaky, or grab onto a wall beside you. But otherwise, pull the belly button in nice and strong in the core. Gaze goes forward, fixing on something that's not moving. Good, and then we're just gonna release. So palms come down beside you. Release that left foot. Bring the knee in line towards the front, and then release and extend that left leg. Shake out the hips. Find Tadasana. We'll move to the other side. So inhale, arms high. Exhale, dive it down. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, giant step back with the right foot. Good, keep that right hip nice and low. So we inhale, take the arms high, find that high lunge, sink the hips nice and low. And then exhale, open up as we find warrior two. Right heel drops 45 degrees. Shoulders are over the hips. Press that left knee open, feeling that strength in the left quad. And then we'll take it back as we find peaceful warrior. Right hand goes down the back leg or wraps behind you, rest on the left hip. Left arm is reaching back. Left knee is staying bent. Inhale, bring yourself back up and find triangle. Straighten through that left leg, reach it forward and down with that left hand, reach up with the right hand. Or maybe wrap that right hand behind you as you find that triangle. Shoulders are in line here, pressing into an imaginary wall behind you. And then we'll find that twist again. So maybe re-extend that right arm if it's behind you. Close down the right hand to meet the left. Maybe take a little baby step in with that right foot if it's kind of far and awkward to twist open towards the left. But otherwise, as you get set up, keep that right hand grounded. Left hand goes on the left hip or reaches up towards the sky. Good, we're just gonna unwind here. So lower down that left hand. Come back onto those right toes. Take a little step in as we find pyramid on this side. So that right foot's gonna come in, land, and then feet are gonna be on two separate planks again. We'll inhale as we find a half lift, flat back. And then exhale as we refold. Release in the head, release in the neck. Maybe grab onto those blocks, keep the shoulders down the spine. Really feel the opening in the backs of both legs. Good. And then on the next inhale, we'll bend slightly through that left knee. Start to bring the palms up prayer center. Find that one-legged mountain pose with that right leg coming in towards the knee, or towards the chest, towards the body. And then open up as we find tree pose on this side. So landing that right foot somewhere along the left leg. Press the right knee open. Shoulders are down the spine. Core is activated and strong. Gaze is fixed. Maybe palms come up overhead this time. And then we'll start to make our way out of it. So palms come back through prayer center. Release down beside you. And then we'll release and extend that right foot. Come back to all fours. Or all twos. We're making our way back down to all fours. So we'll go ahead and inhale. Take the arms back overhead. Exhale, dive it down. Forward fold. Inhale, find a half lift. Flat back. And then exhale, press all the way back, one foot at a time. We're just going to move right into a down dog. So press the hips high, keep the toes planted and grounded, heels lifted. And then from here, we're just going to drop it down to the knees. We'll move back into that kneeling side plank. So left toes come over towards the left side of the mat. Right knee extends, right leg extends, and then that right arm lifts high. Right leg's gonna lift this time for all of us. So see if you can challenge yourself a little bit and stay here if this is plenty. Or we're gonna find a little crunching. So working on that slow strength building. We're just gonna inhale as we bring that elbow in to meet the right knee. Exhale, re-extend. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, re-extend. Inhale, bring it in last time. Exhale, re-extend. Inhale, bend in the right leg. Maybe start to reach back and grab onto the right foot with your right hand. Press the hips forward, shoulder rolls open. Again, stay looking at the ground, stay grounded. Or make your way up. And then release without flinging that right foot. Right arm reaches high. Lower down the right foot. Come back to all fours. Shake out the hips. Find some cat-cows. Maybe slight tuck in the toes. Inhale as you lift the heart, lift the gaze, lift the hips, lower the belly. Exhale as you arch and find cat. Shoulders roll into the ears. Inhale, open. Find cow. Exhale, arch. Good. Next time you open up, find that cow. We'll exhale, find that neutral spine, and then switch sides. So the right toes aim towards the right side of the mat. The left toes kick back. And then that left arm reaches high. Left hip reaches high, and we'll start to lift the left foot. Reach it forward with the left hand, stay here, and just hold strong with that left leg. Or start to inhale, bend in the left knee, bend in the left elbow, and then exhale, release. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, release. Inhale, bring it in. Release. Inhale, bend in the left knee, but press that foot back and then maybe reach back and really roll that left shoulder open. Press the hips forward. Find that gentle back bend. Gaze stays up, beside you or down, protecting the neck. And then release that left foot, lower down the left foot, come back to all fours. Good. From here, we're gonna move into a frog pose. So this is a really, really tender one. So just take it nice and easy here, but we're going to start in a tabletop posture. So, but facing the wide direction of your mat, because we really want that support on the knees, and we're gonna open up the knees. So go ahead and face one direction on the mat, nice and long though, so not forward or back. Hands maybe are off the mat here. Knees are gonna start about hips distance wide and maybe stay there. Big toes are gonna come together. And then from here, we're gonna take some options. So hands can stay up if this is plenty. Maybe start to inch the knees out a little bit wider if you need more. And then if you need that full frog pose or just a lot more, go ahead and start to separate the toes and then maybe even take the toes wider than the knees. So keep inching the knees out wide and then take the toes with you second. So move the knees first and then the toes. Stay up on the palms. Wherever you start to feel it in those inner hips is exactly where you need to be. And then maybe start to lower down to the forearms or even down to your forehead. Those hips are in line with the knees wherever you landed. I'll just show you the opposite direction just so maybe you can see a little bit more. Feet are wide or together. The feet are together. It's just a little bit, takes a lot of the intensity off. So again, just gauge where you're at in this evening's practice and then settle in with the arms. Keep those hips in line with the knees. If you feel any kind of pain or discomfort or pinching, just slowly press up and then bring the feet together, knees together. But just moving very slowly out of it if it feels a little bit too much. Otherwise, just find your breath. See if you can settle in as much as possible. It's not a super easy posture to hold, but it releases a lot of tension and a lot of hormones and emotion. So again, just validating anything that might come up. Keep the shoulders nice and soft and relaxed. And then we'll start to very slowly come out of this posture again. So go ahead, maybe start to press yourself up to the palms. Slowly bring the feet in first this time. So inching the feet towards each other, and then the knees can kind of inch towards each other. So really putting pressure on the palms as you bring the knees slowly together. Come back facing the front of the mat, move into a child's pose with the knees together. Toes together, we'll sink the hips over the heels. I like to take the arms down beside me this time, just come into a little ball, but you can keep the arms extended if that feels better. If the arms are down beside you, just let the shoulders roll in, really release everything you got. And feel that belly breath again on your knees, on your legs. Inhale, re-extend the arms if they're down beside you. Bring yourself back up to all fours just for a moment. And then swing onto your sits bones. So swing the legs in front of you. Come into a little cross-legged seat. Roll out the shoulders. Find a nice tall spine. And then go ahead and take the hands behind you. You're going to plant the feet nice and wide, maybe a little bit wider than the hips. Knees are bent. Just let the knees fall side to side. Good. Next time the knees come through center, we'll come back to our sits bones and then move into a fire log or square pose. So there's going to be options for this one as well, but we'll start with that left leg extended. That right ankle is going to cross over the left knee or just above the left knee. And then we're just going to press that right knee down and away from you. So this is one option. Make sure those glutes are out of the way behind you. Come to the fronts of the sits bones. If you feel it really deep in that right hip and that right glute, then you're in the perfect spot. But if you need something a little bit more, if this just feels a little uncomfortable and awkward, see if it feels okay to bend that left knee and bring that foot in so that the right foot is on top of the left knee and then that right knee is on top of the left foot. So this can be a lot more intense, just really opening up the pelvic area and the hips. But again, just coming to the fronts of the sits bones, stay right here if both legs are bent or if one leg is bent, or start to fold forward. Wherever you landed, whether that left leg is extended or bent, keep that right knee pressing towards the ground, nice and heavy. And really feel the opening there. Relaxing the right side. Relaxing the shoulders. And then inhale, start to bring yourself back up. So walk the hands in, lift the heart. Take the hands back behind you, wherever you're at. Just slowly, slowly unwind. Find those windshield wipers again with the knees. So plant one foot, then the other, hips distance or wider. And then let the knees fall side to side. So feeling the difference in that right side versus the left side. Before we switch, next time the knees come through center, we'll go ahead and extend the right leg this time. And come to the fronts of the sits bones, cross the left ankle over the right knee or the right quad. And then stay here, pressing that left knee open. Maybe again, if you have a prop, lifting the ground up to that left knee if it's kind of hurting your right quad. I don't feel like that feels super comfortable on me, so it might not for you either. But then we'll go ahead and if you took the option on the other side to bend the extended leg, go ahead and do that and let the knees and the feet stack like fire logs. So staying here, pressing that left knee towards the ground, nice and tall spine. You're welcome to stay here or start to fold it forward. Walk the hands over the legs and relax in the shoulders, relax in the heart, in the neck. And then when you feel balanced on this side, no rush to come out of it, we'll begin to walk the hands back in, lift the heart back up, take the hands behind you, stack both of the feet or plant both of the feet, bend in the knees, and then we're just gonna, if you want to windshield wipers, you can, but we're gonna go ahead and make our way down onto our backs into bridge pose. So those feet are hips distance wide here. We'll go ahead and find strength one last time. Reach forward with the hands, ground through the feet, and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Good. As you land here, we're going to move right into that bridge pose. So go ahead and bring the heels in towards the glutes. The knees are in line here with the hips. Arms are going to come out beside you. And then we'll just start to press the hips up and keep those knees in line with the hips. They might want to fall open kind of naturally, but see if you can line them up still. Arms are down beside you to keep you grounded, or start to tuck the shoulders slightly and interlace the hands to lift a little bit more with the hips. If you interlace the hands, tuck the shoulders, release the arms back down beside you, roll slowly back onto your back. And then hug the knees in one last time. Rock and roll, maybe find happy baby. Just take plenty of time to finish off with any final poses before Shavasana. Just a little bit of freestyle, anything your body is calling for. You're welcome to take legs up the wall to finish this practice if you want. It's still a safe time to do that. I don't always like to do that for the menstrual cycle just because of the blood flow, but if you want to in this phase, you should be safe to do that, just scooting the glutes away or towards the wall, up the wall. Otherwise, just finding yourself into that traditional Shavasana or final resting pose, like you're going to sleep or taking a nap. Taking the arms out beside you, the shoulders rolling under, the toes aiming outwards towards the corners of the mat. Opening and closing the jaw, relaxing muscles in the face, closing the eyes and then raising and lowering the eyebrows, softening the space in between. Relaxing the tongue and the mouth. And then finishing with one final cleansing breath. We'll take a deep inhale through the nose and fill up in the belly. Exhale out the mouth. And then that concludes today's practice for the luteal phase. Welcome to stay in this final resting pose as long as you need to. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for flowing with me. Namaste. If you enjoyed this video and feel great, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next flow.